Well, hi there. Look at you just stumbling into a dimly lit place that you'll never be safe in.
Ah!
Welcome to Disinformed After Dark.
What is John doing?
Uh,
After your talk about the stock market, I figured that we could just treat all money like monopoly money.
No, if you treated it like monopoly money, you would have torn it in half.
Do
Like
it.
when you get upset at monopoly and you just tear your money in half and you leave.
I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm
Courtney?
Michael. And I'm waiting for John to treat them like monopoly money.
I won't. That's tip money I haven't entered in. Just the moment we wrapped the episode, I was just thinking. Go
Let me
ahead.
just pull my fat stacks out of my wallet just so I can show all my 20s.
By tips, John means those are the things people pressed between his sloppers while he was serving them.
You know-
Man's got to eat.
You have a way with words.
Yes, Shane does.
I wish that you had written the fanfic that we are stumbling.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
It really would be. Sorry if you're throwing off the flow with the dumb kid.
Yeah, like your urethral sounding, you just throw off the flow all the time. But for those unfortunate souls who have stumbled into this, and this is your first foray into Disinformed After Dark, welcome. I'm sure we'll be seeing you later. Hopefully. Please come back. Please.
Yes. Please.
But what we typically do is we host a podcast weekly entitled The Disinformed Podcast, where we will dive into a random esoteric topic, and in the midst of explaining it to one another, we will lie occasionally. It's a significant amount of fun. And you can find that every single Marvelous Monday morning. In addition to that, we also do this little decompression video cast that we put on YouTube every Friday that's kind of a companion to this week's episode. And so here we are doing just that.
Right.
Hence why there's some talk of tip money and Michael being a wastrel.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
And again, if you didn't catch the episode proper, if you send us an email at disinformedpodcast@gmail.com, we will give you Michael's home address if you want to send him a box of bees or anything that could potentially harm him innocently.
As Michael's financial planner said, the boys got more stocks than a cornfield or a middle school classroom. Good luck finding your way out of that one, Michael. In any event, this week's episode was a slobberingly marvelous installment where we discussed the War of the Big Bird and the Snuffleupagus down in the fabled Australias.
Yeah, so for a bonus point, so you're speaking of emus. What's another big bird, Michael? You want the redemption?
The extinct dodo.
No,
That's not a big bird.
Let's try. I'm trying to give you redemption. I'm trying to get you to give you another
The
shot.
ostrich.
I'll
There.
take it.
You happy? Okay.
There you go.
Cool. I've
I mean-
redeemed myself in the eyes of no one. I'm irredeemable.
Losers forever.
I'm irredeemable.
You're a liar and a frog.
I am a liar and a frog.
Well, in other news, our young friend Mr. Watkins had indicated that yet again he is engaged in a trolling war with some folks on the interwebs.
Ooh.
I was saying that I don't fully troll on Facebook like I want to
When he
because
Daddy said no.
I don't know how far the comments reach. So if I leave a comment, my friends will see the comment that I've left on a blog post, and a lot of the things that I want to say in purely trolling fashion, polite company wouldn't really care for. But the trolling that I have gotten back into now is I take Dead by Daylight too seriously again. So I message people after the matches and let them know how terrible or well they did. But mostly it's like just letting them know. My favorite thing to say to people, especially if you disconnect from a match without finishing the game, is you can always just uninstall the game if you're that bad at it. Instead of disconnecting from the match, have you maybe just go uninstall the game and never play it again?
Ooh.
And my favorite thing is that whenever I call someone out for disconnecting, or just being a terrible teammate or, antagonist, is they'll always blame it on like, oh, sorry, my internet was lagging, or oh, sorry, I was eating a bowl of cereal, or
Oh, sorry, I was balls
I
deep
had to
in your
go to
mom.
I had to go to work. I'm sorry. Like no one wants to fight, and it's really sad. That's what happens when the liberals take over America.
Oh, darn it. Why?
How does it feel to have lost your faith?
Yeah, these little simps out here.
Jeez.
Well, Shane, you've been going back through the early disinforms or
I'm sorry.
disinforms. You've been going back to early dads, and you found a nugget from episode
Ew.
4.
Why? I don't know why. That sounds a lot worse than it should.
Nugget?
I don't know why.
Michael's showing his kinks again. I'm sorry.
It
that.
pops
I
up
call
from
my
time to
dogs
time.
nuggets.
It's just disgusting.
Ugh.
Courtney.
It's like a fart transplant.
Have you no decency?
Hey, Courtney. Oh, heart transplant.
Call back. Yeah, it has been a very fun descent back into the rabbit hole to start from one, as they say, and roll back through the entire mythos. I had preordained that John would have an affectionate tie to Justin Bieber at some point in the future. And it magically manifested, which is a lot of fun.
Sure
And
did.
also, I discovered myriad more instances of Michael mispronouncing things. Go figure.
It's almost like it's not a seasonal arc. It's a
Oh.
series arc.
It's a lifetime arc for me.
I still cannot fathom how teetotaler is
Got
something
bias?
that manifested out of your mouth.
I know the word.
What would that word be, Michael?
Whatever he just said. If you're curious as to what word it is, you can literally go back about
No.
15, 20 seconds and listen to him say it again.
I'll include the link time-stamped to the episode that I shared with all of
Why?
There
you,
we go.
so you can
That's
go back
awesome.
and watch Michael and his teeter-totter as it just stumbles
say-
out into grace.
It's a little less damning going back than I thought it would be, at least for you and I. Michael's always just a, he's the
Source of
patron saint
entertainment, I
of
guess.
Lurst cruises.
Michael's
As long as
committed.
I am committed to not saying anything correctly.
He's committed to the bit, guys. You just gotta let him roll.
Thank
I
you,
will
Courtney.
say
I
that
appreciate that.
From day one, people were saying that we were too mean to you, and then I remember there was a time where we stopped being as mean to you, and the
everyone
moment,
called for
like there was
blood.
1 or 2 episodes back to back where we were like very respectful towards you, and we were trying to treat you like a person.
And
A member
those
of
were
this
the-
podcast.
They were
Yeah.
the lowest downloaded episodes, reviled. We don't
It
talk
was-
to them anymore.
It was one of the handful of times that I had people reach out and say, "Why are you being so nice to him?"
I actually
People
had
demand
folks asking,
blood.
like, what's wrong? Are you
Yeah,
guys
like,
feeling
"Need
okay?
help?"
Better help.
Are you winning the game?
Ah, sponsored by.
If
Are you
only.
winning, son?
That was one of the strangest moments. For admittedly, I have very few quote unquote celebrity crushes that we have all discussed. But as I scrolled through Facebook while I was sending messages to y'all, there's a video of Hayley Williams, and I'm like, oh,
Was it from
honey.
today?
It was fairly recent. I think it
was-
was either yesterday or today.
Is it her
and
talking
it's
about therapy?
her doing a BetterHelp ad.
Yep.
And
Oh my
I
god,
was
it's the
like-
same thought. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's the same
I was
thought.
like, this honeypot went a dramatically different direction than I expected it to. Here I was very excited, and then she's telling me there are people who can listen to you talk about how you're, ridiculously obsessed with me for no good reason. And I'm like, cool.
I mean, she is fine wine. And also, I mean, on the similar topic, if you want to get therapy, it's pretty rad. Go get therapy.
Please
I'm
do.
actually, I'm probably looking into it myself here. Just need to, make the jump.
Yep, even David
Ooh.
Duchovny going to the same meetings these days. So, be a good time for all involved parties. Gotta
Whoa.
Don't understand the reference, but I think I got the point.
get some shampoo to kill the ticks and the tox.
I'll tell you what, though, Shane, I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go.
Never
I wish
did.
you would step back from that ledge, my friend. Yeah. Well,
I mean, if you need to, you can cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in.
okay, congratulations. You've listened to the radio twice in your life, Michael. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
I
You're a
walk
fan?
by it, and it just so happens.
You're a fan?
No.
Name the bandmates' blood types.
O positive for all of them except for the bassist, which is probably a negative.
Because he plays bass, so he's, not really important.
Well, we don't
person?
have an end to this bit, so I'm just going to cut my own throat.
If you know, leave a comment down below.
Also, I
Haha,
take back that
engagement.
statement that I make that bass player aren't like good people. Bass players are better people than most.
I
Unless-
don't take back my statement that bass people aren't actually people.
Can we get to a bloody hypothetical?
I was
or
going to
what?
say, yeah, John's got rhythm envy.
I sure do.
I don't know what that is.
And you
Not
played
shocked.
an instrument, Michael?
Allegedly,
I
there's no
stood there
pictures, there's no videos.
with an instrument. You can't prove that I ever played an instrument.
C's get degrees, and that cancer kazoo. He always hit the A flat. Well, this week,
hear the solo from Russian Tom Sawyer?
Shane, what are we doing today? Please.
Please, Shane, save us.
End me.
one day in the midst of recording this podcast, they will look up at me and say, "Save us," and I'll say, "No."
You phone who this?
Oh my god. Michael, you're so easy. I swear.
I like what I like. I don't know. I'm weird.
I am
You
2
have-
seconds from hitting the stop button and making this start over.
Okay. Done.
This week's hypothetical, like you're still around to care, is Joe Sixpack, which is what most of us are going to need in order to recover from this show. I may take up drinking finally.
Oh shit!
Hooray.
Come on over,
This
baby.
is serious business.
We knew
All
that
right.
Michael would cause this.
I apologize. I'm
Just like Chuck, 39 great years.
like
You are placed in the unenviable position of having to compete for the right to stay alive. Oh, how I wish it were so.
I give up.
Take me.
You win.
You will be matched against a person of your own gender in a series of 5 events. An 800-meter run, a game of Scrabble, a 3-round boxing match, a debate over the legalization of late-term abortion. Trigger warning. Sorry,
Yeah,
folks.
yes.
I had
Whoa.
so I should explain. We randomly pull these cards out of the box, and what you get
Cold
is
read
what you
'em.
get.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no clue what is happening in advance of this show, so my apologies. And for anyone who has experienced Trump, I was going to make a BetterHelp joke, and that's incredibly insensitive, more so than I usually am, and I'm shocked at myself. I apologize. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, God.
It's important
Sorry,
to cross your
Quab.
own lines to know that they're still there.
I've been waiting for the lightning to strike me for several decades now, and God has continued to disappoint.
Been ducking your calls, as it were.
Indeed, God don't talk to strangers anymore.
Mm-mm.
A debate over the legalization of that thing, scored and officiated by reputable collegiate judges. And the math portion of the SAT.
Oh,
In order to survive, you must win at least 3 of these events. Your opponent will be playing for his or her life as well. However, you kind of get to pick your opponent. You can either A, compete against a person selected at random, or B, compete against someone who is exactly like you. If you selected at random, the individual could be one of any age or skill level. He or she might be an infant with Down syndrome.
Oh my god.
Whoa, Chuck!
Chuck Klosterman's really
You've
off the
gone
boat
too-
today.
You've gone too far, Chuck.
Man, I didn't think Chuck could surprise me anymore, and I was
God
wrong.
Damn.
I
He
feel
could have
like
ended the prompt like
just with that
a paragraph ago.
Yep.
You didn't have to
could
go into
be
those
an
details.
infant.
Yes.
I feel
think
like he was
Dewan-
making up his list.
Dewan
he needed
gets
one more.
his payout or his payback
I quit.
because Dewan was saying that Chuck Klosterman was kind of a dick.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Make up the rest of your question on your own. I'm done.
I'd fight the infant.
You've been doing
Well-
that most of your life, friend. So,
The
he or
infant was
she
me.
might be an infant with a terrible affliction. But this person might also be an academic All-American linebacker from Notre Dame. Or Galrilla Bloody Godot.
I was gonna say
I'd rather just do that.
If you pick the average human, he or she will be precisely your age and will have an identical level of education. This person will be a perfect cross-section of your particular demographic. He or she will be of average height and of average weight, with a standard IQ and the most normative life experience imaginable. So, whom do you select? Or perhaps more accurately, do you feel that you are better than an average version of yourself?
What were the five, I guess, things?
so.
I don't
the
think
en-
he even knew.
Yeah, the ending
Okay,
of the
fair enough.
5 is the late term debate and then a math
So-
math portion of the SATs.
800-meter run, a game of Scrabble, a 3-round boxing match, a debate over
debate.
the legalization of
That
and the math portion of the SAT.
Man, Chuck.
Trick
I don't know.
question.
I feel
I
like-
set Chuck Klosterman on fire.
Yeah,
I
feel
like that answer.
You know what? If you can kind of select who it is, give me Chuck Klosterman.
Yeah,
As he is right at this very precise moment.
he's old, right? I could take him in a fight. I don't know.
Because
Okay.
either I die, like he beats me, I die and I don't have to live with it, or I win. And then I really win because I get rid of Chuck Klosterman, who created this awful, awful hyperthetical.
I was going to say there are sirens going on in the background because I think they're coming to arrest us for this crime of a question.
I feel like this is the worst question that Chuck Klosterman has ever given us.
It's in the
Like,
running.
This is like complete like weird. I can't even put words to this.
It's incredibly insensitive, so we'll
Yes,
just
it
throw
is.
that
Yeah.
out already. It's been acknowledged.
Yeah, if you want to make sure that we have the blanket of we're not really laughing at that.
I would fight Chuck Klosterman. That's
Have
my
I started,
decision.
Have I started a revolution?
Yes.
Apparently, it's Fight Club all over again.
Just
Gandhi,
F it.
mate,
Let's
Gandhi.
do it. Fight him. I'll fight him.
Wait,
Take him
who's the jerk from Velocipaster that we have beef with?
Greg Cohen.
Ooh.
If we can't both take Chuck, so whoever one of us has to take.
I
Greg.
feel like you're a better scrapper than I am. You can have the younger guy. I'll take Chuck.
I'll take Greg.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly have no idea how old Chuck Klosterman is. I assume he's old. If most of his references are dated
It's-
from the 90s.
I can
Somewhat beside the point, but
I'm trying to debate if I can actually win in a boxing match between a very old guy or an actor. So yes.
He's
All right.
48.
Oh, that's different than.
Well, Courtney.
I think I would want to take on the person that was like me. That was a choice, right?
so it's
Yeah.
either a random selection, which means
Yeah.
you have the breadth and depth of the human experience that you're going to be competing against,
No.
and that's just chance,
Not that
or
one.
the average person, which would be your demographic essentially.
Yeah, I picked that one.
Okay.
It's a fair point. Is it like the average person for the whole world or for the United States, for Arizona? Because that would change things.
He literally said this.
I
Mhm.
usually zone out
It's-
the
yeah.
second
Why you're still in
iteration of one
college.
Chuck Klosterman.
Here's the part of the episode where I mute Michael again. So
Love you.
I am fairly confident in my skills at Scrabble. as I have excelled at playing at that game for years because I had a boss who did nothing but while we were at work. So she and I had to challenge one another constantly, and I won more than I lost, which is always a good litmus test for your skill sets, I'm sure. So I think I can swing that. I can probably get away with a decent, boxing match, and 800-meter run. I think I can give a good ghost for. So we'll see whether or not my mathematics skills hold up, and my debate is going to consist of me mostly saying I think we should exterminate everything that is sentient on this planet and just start over. And so I think that will hold us in
Okay.
good stead. So yeah, give me the average person, and because the roulette wheel of me possibly running up against one of the American gladiators may actually be interesting if they just bludgeon me unconscious and I can't respond for the rest of it.
Joke's
gonna
on,
be-
on you. I'm into that.
Gonna be hard for you to complete your SAT without a face.
Oh no, you
Or
didn't.
brainstem.
Well, this is an indictment of you, Mr. Klosterman.
Yeah.
Here's hoping that you give us a bit of better fare going forward, because I have a significant quantity of these cards still left.
I will say though, I mean, like it was bound to happen eventually where we got a
Yes.
very, like, I would consider this one a very bad prompt.
Yes.
There have been prompts leading up to this where there was little, he belabored the point, as we are very eager to point out.
40
But this
paragraphs
is the first
later.
one where I've just been like, I don't want to answer. Like, what is up, Chuck?
We have stated from the onset of talking about these things, he is intentionally being incendiary because he wants you to quote unquote have interesting conversations. I'm not sure they were intended to be aired on a public platform, and so
Also fair.
you
It's
know,
like you
what are you
wouldn't.
gonna do?
It would be like reading like Cards Against Humanity prompts and responses with no,
Context.
Yeah.
In front of a room full of children.
right.
Yes.
Fair, I guess.
Oh, on a different note, getting away from this, I finished Doom Eternal.
Oh, cool. How'd you like the ending?
I hated that entire game.
Fair enough, I guess.
Well, don't you bury the lead, my friend. Just tell us how you feel.
Oh,
I do want to know your opinion on it. Yeah.
I
Go for
came
it.
as a huge fan of the 2016 Doom entry, and I feel like the developer just kind of, instead of embracing what made it great, drove away from it and then introduced too much. And then they punish you for not following their precise way they want you to play, instead of letting you craft your own play style, which is what the 2016 one was kind of about, where it would reward you for certain behavior, but you ultimately were in control of your gameplay experience. I don't feel this one did it any justice. And they turned it way more arcadey and comic-y instead of being a little more dark. So I mean, different folks, different strokes. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just personally, I don't think I'll ever replay it. I lowered the difficulty to the lowest difficulty so I could just burst through it, because I got halfway through and I was like, I kind of just want to finish it just to see the story, but I'm kind of over it. I just need to speed through. So
That's fair, especially in the higher difficulties. You have all these tools. You need to use them in particular ways, or else you will die. Because that's something that I definitely experienced going through. I agree with you. Like, I wouldn't say I hated Doom Eternal, but I definitely like the Doom 2016 much more.
Would you play Eternal ever again?
I probably will. I don't know if I'll ever buy the DLC. I might, if I actually have, money that I feel like throwing away at that, as opposed to like other games or
Stock
something like that.
market?
Other games and other things like that.
Well, I guess now that you're invested in GameSpart, that maybe you could,
Game stock, game strongs. Straight to the moon, diamond hands.
That's
Boy.
enough of that nonsense already.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that one more time.
Well,
But
on a
no,
similar
like,
plane,
go for it. Yeah.
I finished Red Dead Redemption 2.
did you
this
cry?
week.
Ooh.
You know what's funny? I specifically told Melissa I enjoyed the game immensely. It's brilliantly crafted. I hate racing to a red light.
Oh,
because anyone who's played the original game knows how this story ends. So you're basically just waiting for the turn to happen. Spoilers, apologies for anybody who hasn't touched it already. But it's like, yeah, I know these people are going to betray my trust, and I don't want to have to keep running through. So it got a bit laborious at the end with some of the, waiting for Dutch and watching everybody be suspicious of you. Like, oh yeah, no, he is incredibly dense. If he does not get by this point, they're probably not going to bring him back with welcoming arms. So I got a little bit tired of it by the end of it,
Makes
but I
sense.
immediately started the game back over and started going through because I enjoy
The
cyclical
world.
things like that. Yes. And
Yeah.
cultivating skills and doing the fun things. But yeah, sometimes with Rockstar games in particular, the gameplay is fun and the games are great, but the missions become very tedious. It's like the Grand Theft Auto you must chase somebody missions, where like their car is going 200 miles an hour from the moment that they get into it, and then you have to make up the distance, and it throws random crap in your way just to frustrate you. I was like, I don't like these
Yeah.
missions.
It took me years, and I'm not lying, years to realize that there was actually story to Grand Theft Auto. I think it was probably 2 or 3 after, like maybe San Andreas, maybe the one after that, to realize that it actually had story missions.
Stuff
I thought it
going on.
was an open sandbox where you just did whatever you wanted.
Yeah, makes sense.
Spawn
Courtney.
in a tank with. I
Yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
no,
Shank.
that's what
But I was going to
gave
ask,
up.
we seldom, I don't think we've ever even asked Courtney if she's playing a game or if
That's
she's
true.
Courtney, are you gaming or are you just
Are you a
reading?
gamer?
You know what games are?
Games?
I've
Huh?
heard of
Like,
solitaire.
like for your hands?
No.
Or better yet, what are you reading? Are you still on a king kick or because you've been enjoying Audible or
Yeah, I've been listening to some books, but as far as gaming goes, like we'll play through Diablo 3 every once in a while for funsies because we've played that one a couple times.
Ooh. I still have never played that. I played the first one and the second one, but I've never
It's
gotten
really
through and
fun.
played that
I
one.
like it a lot.
Hmm.
But we were just talking about we need to find a new game for us, except that I'm really bad at games. And like we tried to play through a Mario game together one time and I kept throwing him in the lava on accident.
Oh, I think I know
And
which
that
one
just
it is.
didn't go over very well.
Well, for him, but you probably had a grand old time.
Blasty blast.
Well, no, because
Yeah.
there was a lot of yelling.
Well, it's his fault that he got caught by you, and he deserved to be thrown into the lava.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Have you tried Overcooked?
Oh, yeah, we all love Overcooked. In fact, we are an Overcooked podcast now, I think, right? Shane and Melissa have played it.
Mm-hmm.
Becky and I played it. Jonah and Courtney. Jonah, Courtney, Becky, and I played it way back in the day. We had an Overcooked 2 launch party together.
I was going to say,
Well,
Courtney
shoot.
and Jonah play it professionally.
They have.
And
I
we
don't.
play the game like we work. It's very
They
funny.
do. It's outstanding. They get so mean to each other, and I got to see it in person. We should talk about that at a little more length later, but
Fine, because I have a lot of questions as someone that also works
bookmark
in
that.
the food. Yeah, okay. Technically, I work in food. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
Pizza
Cool,
is
dude.
still
You
food.
make edible items. That's fact.
That it counts as food. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
do horses' asses.
That
I mean-
counts as food. Yes.
Sean would consider most people to be in the food industry.
I would.
They count as food. Yes.
You make edible food from somewhere.
Hoping that was a slip. Speaking of which, though, I just completed my second listen through of If It Bleeds today as well. And got through my second
Nice.
pass of Rat, which I had forgotten some of the things that I really appreciated about it. I was very upset that he had this glorious conception for another story that I really want to encounter. I would much prefer to read Bitter Creek than that story. It was very agita-inducing the whole time. I'm like, why don't you just write that story?
Uh-huh.
You haven't done a Western since you've really gotten into the Joys of the Tower series, so give me that. But marvelous book. Absolutely loved it.
Very good.
Well,
So,
thank you for the
yeah.
decompression because I needed it after those episodes, and I
Oof.
definitely needed it after that prompt.
Sure.
Yes. Agreed.
We come for your daughter, Chuck. We will be looking forward to this for later on. But I think that is going to officially wrap up this evening's exploits and this week's festivities for us. And
You
it
mean
is
this morning's exploits?
Shut up, Michael.
Because this
tearful
is
parting.
it's 10 a.m. Mountain time.
Yeah.
No, by this point it's 11:40 flippin' 5.
Mountain time.
Oh, so here's the spiel one more time with feeling. If you are digging what you are hearing right now, there is a comment section below, and you may litter it with all of your thoughts. If you are illiterate, who knows? But every single Marvelous Monday morning, new podcast episode flees from your preferred provider app, so search for the Disinformed Podcast and subscribe there. Heck, like if you've got a wild hair. And of course, here on the Tubes of You, every wonderful Wednesday and every fabulous Friday, you can find us here, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, with brand new content, including fan fictions on Wednesday and Disinformed After Dark going forward. We hope you have enjoyed it. Michael, if they have enjoyed it, what should they do right now?
Well, the first thing you can do is smash that like button and then hit the subscribe button, like you probably already said, and then ring that bell.
And just because we're pushing it these days, and it's a lot of fun because Courtney has put a significant amount of effort into making it far more cultured and cultivated than it had been heretofore, you can find us on Instagram. Our handle is at Disinformed Podcast. Go check us out. Engage with us there because there is
Please.
plenty of pictorial entertainment just winging your way constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, for another dad, no, this week, I am Kenton Eldorado.
I am Timothy Lone Cactus.
I am Robert Greer.
Painter.
And I'm Jean Grey Ghost.
That you are.
Indeed. As always, I will remind you, fabulous folks, to live, laugh, and lie.